Have you gone back and looked at the tape? And to me, it looks like your team played with a ton of heart and just almost like they weren't going to lose that game.
Well, I don't know if it was, there's still a great chance that things won't go your way even when you play hard. But yeah, guys played great, and they played hard and played tough for the most part. And I was obviously very proud of them, and I think that they felt good about themselves. Beating a terrific team. But, we also understand that was Monday and today's Thursday. So there's still bigger things out there, even though that was big at the moment.
You've talked in the past about how competing for the conference feels different now because you don't play everyone home and away. And in fact, the number of teams you do get to play home and away is getting fewer and fewer. How valuable is it now when you do get a chance to play 2 times with a good team like this?
I don't know. I think it's good for your team moving forward. I don't know it makes for the best odds to have success in winning the league, because a lot of winning the league, usually the best team wins it. There's no doubt about that. But there's times that the schedule can skew things to give certain teams maybe a little bit more of an advantage than others, and we have benefited from that in other years. So you get Durant at home instead on the road. So that's part of it. But I think playing Iowa State twice and Arizona twice or Houston twice in the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that is negative. But when you play those type of teams, the chance to go 6-0 aren't very good either. So
I'm curious, we don't see him at practice, and obviously had a lot of health issues this year. Do you think there's another level to Darryn's athleticism or burst that we haven't seen because of some of the stuff that's happened this year?
I don't know that there's another level of burst than the play he made in the first half against BYU.
Yeah, the BYU.
This is I'm not a social media guy, but I have gotten on X and read some of the things and narratives that are out there about him, and it's really not remotely true. The thing about it is, when you're honest, people don't believe you. And when you tell and you don't comment on it, people create their own narratives. And you know what? I do the same thing about things I don't know about. Well, it must be this, geez, it has to be that if they're not going to talk about it. But here's the bottom line. Was his hamstring legit? Hell yes. Would you risk injuring it more in November? No. Was his cramping legit? Yes, positively it was. Did he turn his ankle bad to the point where he couldn't practice for 9 days and then practice one day and play BYU? Yes. And that was adrenaline kicking in the BYU game. And then, of all things, he gets sick. And this is what blows my mind. Well, he didn't play because he's sick, isn't a big deal. But he didn't play because he was sick when he didn't play the other games, added together becomes a big deal in people's minds. He's got a string of bad luck. But was he sick? Yeah, he's sick enough he couldn't practice. But he said he was still gonna give it a run.
Yeah.
And he came to shoot around and he gave it a run. And he went out before and he gets lightheaded, and I walk in, the doctor says, Bill, he's not gonna be able to go. But the negative is that people saw him out there. What could have happened between being out there and not playing?
Yeah.
Bottom line is he was just trying to see if he could go. I mean, if he wanted to run from it or hide from it, he wouldn't have gone out there. So the narrative is BS in many ways. I'm not sure Load management, this kid hadn't talked about that one time or anything. Load management, geez, that's when you play 4 games in 7 days. That's not when you play, one half a week or anything like that. So those aren't true. The narratives have, at least some of the ones I saw, are inaccurate. But the whole thing is it's true. He's really sick. Is he better today? Yeah, he was out there yesterday. Was he full speed? No. Was he full speed today? No. I'm hoping he can be closer to full speed tomorrow, and hopefully he can be full speed on Saturday. But that's what he's dealing with, and it's a lot. I would think when you're 19 years old and you're dealing with everybody having a narrative about everything that's going on, or you're sitting on the bench and you got heat warmers on your legs or whatever, and now everybody's got a narrative about a heat warmer. But that's what he's dealing with, and that's the world he's getting ready to enter. The narratives haven't been accurate.
And I also wanted to ask, you've talked a lot about Florey's defense, and you've seen a lot of great defensive players come through Kansas. Do you see any similarities with him and Doak and the way they play on the defensive end?
No. I do see similarities in Doak was so athletic that he could switch ball screens, late clock, and stuff like that, but not to the level that Florey can. He was a really, really athletic, 7 foot, 250-pound dude. Florey's not near that big, but shot blocking, Florey's a better shot blocker. There's no doubt about that. But Florey was a bigger post presence just because he's so physically big. But I think that there's some similarities in that they're both really good at it, but they were both different in how they did it.
Specifically after this Arizona win, just want to get your kind of view on this team and seeing the players celebrate with the fans. It really feels like the fans love the players, but the players also love the fans, and that feels maybe different than teams we've seen maybe recently.
Well, I get a kick out of this. Teams that we've seen recently, like we're talking about decades of whatever. We had a bad year by our standards last year. Year before, we would have been a 2 seed if Kevin hadn't got hurt. I mean, we lost an All-American for the last month of the season. Last year was a down year by our standards, without question. We still had an average year by a lot of standards, but it wasn't Kansas levels year. I also think that so much of this, and I talked about this with our guys. Juan wasn't a vocal guy. KJ wasn't a vocal guy. Hunt was a vocal guy in controversial type ways, which made everybody have an opinion on him. Isn't it amazing about the media and social media? You want people to be opinionated and expressive, and then when they are and things don't work out perfect, now it's time that we can really cash in on those guys. Hunt was great. He was a great, unbelievable teammate. Took less than, probably made 30 cents on the dollar here compared to what he could make anywhere else. People don't know that. That's the fact. But we weren't as good. Pieces didn't fit as well. The guys still loved KU and they still tried hard. But trying hard with personality looks different. And this team's got personality. And so to your point, do I think that we're enjoying it more? Absolutely. And did I know that they went out and celebrated with the fans? Absolutely not. Although I wouldn't care, but I don't know any of that stuff. That's stuff that they do on their own, and a lot of that is spearheaded by Melvin, which I love that. He's going to soak in every minute he can of this place.
And then also wanted to ask about Bryson Tiller and just how he's improved from beginning of the season to now.
I thought Bryson early in the season against Carolina, he was so good, but he was an outside-in guy. And I think even though he's still skilled, I think he's understanding more and more where his bread is buttered. and he's an inside-out guy that's skilled, as opposed to a perimeter player that's got a little bit of power. I'm really proud of him. I think he's probably, everybody talks about Flory's improvement, which has been tremendous. Bryson from the start of the season has improved as much as anybody.
I'm curious with Marco had some good passes to Bryson on Monday. How have you seen him kind of progress with his vision coming off ball screens or driving?
Well, what probably better off straight line drives than actually ball screens, but he made a as you guys know, Marco can get himself into trouble sometimes doing something that's not there. But when it is available, he's as good as we have at getting in there and making a play, whether to finish it or make the pass. And he did that a couple of times the other day that were big time plays. I mean, getting his shoulders past people.
Teams improve as the season goes along. With Iowa State, have you seen them evolve much, or where have you seen kind of differences compared to the first game to the team you see right now?
Well, there was a period of time where they were playing as well as anybody in the country, and then they had a bad week. And after the bad week, they played as well as anybody in the country. Then they had a bad game. I mean, but yeah, they're terrific. I think their bench has gotten better. Their freshmen are good, and obviously, they got 3 potential All-American type guys, starting. So they're good, and we'll get their best shot. We played so well against them the first time, and they didn't. I'd like to think that we had something to do with that, but they didn't. So we know we'll see a different team Saturday than what we saw the first time.
They've won the last 3 over you in Hilton. Do you do any special stuff this week to pump in the noise or anything?
No. They won the last 3 in Hilton.
And it's 3-3 over the last 6.
In Hilton?
No,
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, they've been really good. We've had to be pretty good in order to go 3-3 against them. So it'll be a hotly competitive game. Well, they ranked 5 now. Is that right? 4 or 5?
5.
And so it'll 5 versus what are we 9? 5 versus 9. It'll be turned up in there. But are we doing different things to pump in noise and that kind of stuff? You know what? We probably could, and it may not be a bad idea. But I've never been a big believer in that, maybe as much as some football coaches do, because they do that all the time.
Are they a Final Four contender?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely they are. Now, could they make it? Absolutely. Could they not? Absolutely. There's so many good teams out there, but in my opinion, in the job that they've done and the players they have, when they're playing well, they play as well as anybody.
How do you see the conference race?
I see Houston and now, if I'm not mistaken, does Arizona go to Houston? I believe they do.
Yes.
That which will be interesting. And Arizona's still got some hard games, but the majority of them are at home, if I'm not mistaken. I see us being in it without question, but I still think we got to do some damage still in order to put ourselves right in the middle of it. Because I still think that, with one loss to Houston and Arizona, they're still obviously the front runners.
Do you remember the first time you saw Melvin or heard about him, and maybe what your expectations were then compared to what he's actually been to you guys? I mean, did you see this?
No. Did I see he could be a good player? Absolutely. One thing about recruiting the portal, you don't get to know the kids as well. You can try, but still, you're limited in talking to him. And you knew he had personality, and you knew he's appreciative, and you knew that he was a we first guy. But I didn't have any idea that his impact on our program would be near as great as what it is.
You and a bunch of coaches in the league have talked plenty about how good this conference is this year, and obviously the records and the standings and the rankings all prove that. Are any of these teams all-time type Big 12 teams, like that Arizona team the other night? Is that as good a team as you've seen in this conference, or do you have
I said that the other day, and I sometimes I can get ahead of myself. I don't know if you guys know that, but has there been a better team in our league come into our building? I don't know that there has been. I really don't know. Houston last year made it to the finals, and that was a damn good team.
Yeah.
I think this Arizona team has a real shot. I really do. I think that, you know, they've got size, and as you guys have noticed across America, the game's going back to getting bigger, not smaller. Now, does it help to have one big guy that can shoot? Absolutely. But I don't know that I can remember playing against a team, Houston included, where their two bigs, no matter who they are in the game, can bludgeon you inside of 10 feet the way that they can. That kid is huge. I mean, he's 7'2", and it's one thing to play against 7'2" and be really good than to play against 6'9" and be really good. So I think that size and Burry's on the perimeter, they have the pieces that they could, you know, they obviously could win it all. I said the same thing about Houston last year, and they obviously got to the finals, but I don't know who's better between those two. Tech went to the finals one year, that came in here, if I'm not mistaken. Baylor's team was terrific. That came in here and beat us. We beat no, we beat them here.
Yeah.
We beat them here, but that was during COVID when their team was all been sick or whatnot. But I think that there's been some of the nation's best, but I would certainly put Arizona as good as any team we've been in here. My personal opinion, maybe the best team that we have played in here was Kentucky in 2022. I don't know that I've seen a team play better in this building than what they did that day. And the team that they beat ended up winning. So it's just still early, but Arizona's good.
Sure. Real quick too, I wanted to ask you about Jamari's defensive ceiling, because he seems to be orchestrating things. He seems to be comfortable. He seems to be in the right spot. He can guard big. He can guard small. Where do you see him as a defender, and maybe how much more can he go with that?
I think he can go further, because I think Mari is so bright and understands well enough schemes and how to take out scout report. He can help us even more than he's helping us, and I think he's been great. But if you watch the other night, you know, trapping a ball screen, but you got to force him into it, and the guy drives away from it. I mean, there's some things that he can still do better, but I couldn't be more pleased with what he's given us.
You had alluded maybe a month or two ago to the players not having yet received their prize from the Players Era, and there was an article a couple days ago that said several teams still hadn't.
Yeah.
Have you guys not yet received them?
I don't know that they've received payment, but because the way that works, everything's got to go through NIL
Yeah.
Go. And there's been some delays on getting some of those things approved through NIL Go, and a lot of that could be on the schools, on the time when they get it in, or what the kids have to do to actually earn the money and the amount of things they have to do activation wise. But I don't know exactly. I haven't had anybody complain to me, but I don't know exactly where all that is.
Are you saddened by Furphy's injury, and have you texted him or anything?
Yeah, I texted him, but I haven't heard back from him. To me, he's, you know, it's amazing. We you know, we're thinking he needed another year, and he just goes off and grows 2 more inches, it looks like, and gains 25 pounds or 20 pounds. He looks like a pro. And if I'm not mistaken, he'd started 15 or 20 games for the Pacers. And I know they love him. So yeah, it's disappointing, but he's young. It's also a blip on the radar. You know, rehab it hard and come back, and he'll be as good as ever a year from now.
Hunter Dickinson, G League All-Star Game, averages a double-double. Do you see a bright future?
I hope so. You know, he can score the ball, and you know, he can rebound the ball. I get such a kick out of, you know, he didn't do this and he didn't do that, but people forget he still got 18 and 10 every game. He was so. I certainly hope it for him. But if he could get on a roster, you know, big guy that can stretch it and can really pass and understands the game, be a great teammate, I could see him playing in the league for a while.
All right, Coach. Thanks, Coach.